Israel. They are one. The United States CIA is Israel. They are one and the same. The CIA was established in September 1947. In November 1947, 2 months later, the UN proposed the two-state solution between Israel and Palestine.
Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash, and I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and a shalom to the hopeful elect and the elect who are teaching this 100% truth, bidding the elect of Yasharallah in the four corners of the earth to the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is your brother Adah, wanting to go into the TikTok ban, the race of people, the biblical name of the race of people that are actually behind it, why they are trying to ban and will eventually ban TikTok and all other internet communications based on what it says in biblical prophecy, using TikTok videos of heathens and even sometimes Edomites whose tongues are falling upon themselves, which is also prophecy within itself, exposing Amalek and Esau and their devices, basically going into prophecy. I will lift up thy skirt, and I have made Esau bare. Let's get into this video.
When Palestine refused, that is what kickstarted the Arab-Israel War. By May 1948, the Nakba had happened, and they had displaced 750,000 Palestinians. Oh my gosh, my Tamagotchi needs to eat. By the way, did you know that Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, actually means Central Institute for Intelligence and Special Operations in Hebrew? The Central Intelligence Agency? The CIA was established for Israel, and it is known to be so corrupt, so secretive, they have admitted to purposely staging so many coups all around the world, which were all very strategic, by the way. Very strategic in a sense of literally trying to take over the world, because if you haven't noticed already, that is exactly what they are trying to do.
And we do know that it says in Genesis, I believe, that Esau would possess the fatness of the earth and that he would live by his sword. He was given a sword, and by his sword he would live, and he would get the fatness of the earth. Let me see if I can find that really quick. Hold on, I'm going to pause the video and I'll be right back. So here we go in Genesis 27 to 38. This is Esau, okay? This is the fraternal twin brother of Jacob speaking to his father Isaac, the son of Abraham. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Verse 39, And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break from his yoke from out thy neck. Let's go into fatness of the earth really quick, and I'll be right. Hold on, actually, Genesis 27:39. Let's blue letter this real quick. Genesis 27:39. Okay. And Isaac his father answered, said, Thy dwelling shall be the fatness. So we want to see what fatness means, right? Unto him, behold, fatness. It's the Hebrew word H424. Fatness, fat, peace, fertile place, richly prepared food, fat, fatness, peace, olive oil, stout, vigorous, fertile spot, or places. Okay, talking about all the places in the earth. Now let's get back to this video. I'll be right back.
Actually means Central Institute for Intelligence and Special Operations in Hebrew. The Central Intelligence Agency. The CIA was established for Israel, and it is known to be so corrupt, so secretive, they have admitted to purposely staging so many coups all around the world, which were all very strategic, by the way. Very strategic in a sense of literally trying to take over the world, because if...
And who is the CIA, right? What's the American government? It's the so-called white people, right? Who are the biblical Edomites, and who are the Jews, or the so-called Jews, the small hats, the Israelis in Israel, and Zion are the Zionists. Who are they? They are the so-called, they claim to be the Jews, right? But what they are is they are the Amalekites, which are also Edomites. Their actual father is the grandson of Esau, Edom. So these two groups of people are actually literally the same nation. They're just different tribes working under a false name of either white American or so-called Jewish people, when they're both in fact Edomites, one being the tribe called Amalek.
If you haven't noticed already, that is exactly what they are trying to do. The first one they admitted to was in Iran in 1953, and I talked about this a couple of videos ago, but they purposely staged a coup to prevent Iran from nationalizing their oil industry. Because if we look at the top oil producers in the Middle East, Saudi, which obviously they're just never going to take over for many reasons, followed by Iran, interesting, followed by Iraq, interesting, the two countries that they've admitted to purposely destabilizing to steal their resources. And I talked about before how it's strategic even in a geographical sense. They've also admitted to a coup in the Congo, which we all know what is happening there, the genocide that is happening at the hands of America and Israel. The Congo is not only the largest country in sub-Saharan Africa, second to Algeria, which is in North Africa, which is usually grouped with the Middle East, but it's also smack dab in the middle of the continent. And not only does it supply 80% of the world's coltan and cobalt, but it is estimated to have $28 trillion of unexploited minerals. They've also staged a coup in Vietnam, which obviously had a lot to do with the Vietnam War, which was also strategic though, because not only would it give them ground next to China, but it would allow them to be around a vast amount of water and also close to other Asian countries, and then also close to Australia. They've also staged a coup in Dominican Republic, which I love this one because guess who's neighbors with the Dominican Republic? Epstein's Island. And then obviously Puerto Rico's already a part of the US. They've also staged a coup in Guatemala, which I don't know enough about the country's resources, but I know that it's huge on agriculture, which if you're a white supremacist trying to dip your dirty little fingers in every economy in the world, I guess that's the missing piece. But also, geographically, again, it would allow them to corner Mexico in, because then they'd have Guatemala and the United States directly above it, and Cuba, which, they have so much beef with Cuba for so long. So Guatemala would also allow them to kind of corner Cuba in as well. And then they staged one in Brazil and Chile, which very strategically on opposite sides of South America. And they're both huge on mining. They're two of the continent's top 3 countries with the most resources, mostly for diamonds and gold. So places that they have tried or succeeded in destabilizing by staging coups include Guatemala, Dominican Republic, Chile, Brazil, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Iran, Iraq, Vietnam. The only places that they haven't interfered and tried destabilizing are Russia and China, which we know this is why they absolutely despise them, because they cannot touch them. And then Canada and Europe, which, if you're not getting the hint already, this is the agenda of white supremacists to take over the world. I don't care how insane that sounds, because it's literally right in front of you. It's not even a conspiracy theory anymore. It's like they're admitting it.
So the Most High put the spirit on this woman to expose and reveal the path of destruction, the path of using of the sword to possess the fatness of the earth. And you see that it's one specific race of people doing it, which then goes into this prophecy, which is, let me see if I can find it again. You shall possess the fatness of the earth. It's right here. It's just going in. It's going, and by thy sword shalt thou live. Okay, so it's going into Esau being prophesied over. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing? My father, bless me even also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live. They fulfill this. They line up. There's no other race of people on the planet Earth that lines up with Esau, the so-called white man, pulling all this kind of stuff off on the planet Earth. Nobody else is doing it. And Amalek. So here we have another one.
States CIA.
I'll be right back. Hold on.
In my last video, I showed that the Zionists are trying to buy TikTok, but has anyone looked at who brought the bill in the first place?
So this goes into the Amalekites, the so-called small hats, the so-called ish people who act like they are not so-called white people when they are related. They are all blood seed line related. They are Edomites. They're the head or the first of the nations. According to scripture, Amalek was prophesied as being the first of the nations. How can you be a heathen nation and prophesied to be the first of the nations when the Israelites are the head nation above every other nation? You have to understand how prophecy writes this out, because there would be a time in history where Amalek would be the top nation on the planet Earth, but not because of the chosen people, but because they're the wicked. And this is how the Most High wrote the story. You got to understand this, you guys. Look at this.
And who pays him? Because I just did. Here, check this out. This is the bill right here. Representative Mike Gallagher. That would be this charming devil right here. And if we look at his top contributors for this election cycle, Palantir and Google are at the top with 44,004.
And this is all going into the TikTok ban, which is going into the prophecy that says that we will experience the famine of the word, which is complete censorship and control of the media, which is, it's all fueled and controlled specifically by one group of people, which are the Amalekites, who are the head tribe of Esau, Edom, who want to control the narrative or want to keep the entire planet under deception.
$40,000, but right there, that's AIPAC with $17,000. But wait, there's more. We're gonna switch this to the last election cycle in 2022 and scroll down. And would you look at that? His top contributor that got him elected in 2022 was AIPAC with $44,000 contribution. If you didn't know, that's the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, the Zionist lobby group that doesn't need to register as a foreign agent because they refuse to. So just to clarify, the TikTok ban bill was introduced by a guy whose some of his top contributions are coming from the Zionists and from Google and Palantir, top tech companies associated with the CIA and Mossad. And now Mnuchin's trying to buy it, and ever since he stopped being Treasury Secretary for Trump, his business model is basically just ally with as many Zionists as humanly possible. People like David Friedman, people like the ex-chief of Mossad, Yossi Cohen, getting board seats on companies like...
It's all Amalekites, and this is not by accident, because they line up with the prophecy that says Amalek was the first of the nations. And I'm going to pull those precepts once this guy's video is done.
Cyber Reason, an Israeli tech cyber company, which it's worth noting also has a Google person on their board, as well as Lockheed Martin. I mean, I'm speculating here. These are not facts, but it's looking more and more like the Israel lobby is the one that brought the bill. And now it's looking like Zionists are lining up to buy TikTok. Can't imagine why. And if you can't imagine why, here's an audio from the chief of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, that might enlighten you as to why.
I also want to point out that we have a major generational problem. All the polling I've seen, ADL's polling, ICC's polling, independent polling, suggests this is not a left-right gap, folks. The issue in the United States' support for Israel is not left and right. It is young and old. And the numbers of young people who think that Hamas's massacre was justified
people, the chosen of the Most High, and they never, anytime you hear them speaking, they never mention his name. They never mention his son's name. They never break down prophecies. They never go into the laws, statutes, and commandments. They never speak from scripture or prophecy. You only hear them talking about carnal issues that are steeped or based on lies that they control, that benefit them, and how if anybody comes against that, that's the problem. There's never a mention of sin or transgression. There's never a mention of prophecy. There's never any mention of Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. They never speak about the names of the Most High or his Son. They never go into prophecy. They only speak about carnal issues that have to do with them keeping power based on them lying to the world, and they never identify themselves according to prophecy.
In the picture yet? Because I got a picture that might help you, and I just want to remind you that pro-Palestine content on TikTok is some of the most censored content there is. And despite that, this is the data from TikTok. No one on TikTok is trying to support Israel.
So everybody on TikTok is seeing the truth, which goes into the precepts of the Most High, lifting up the skirt, making Esau bare, and the Amalekites, the so-called Ish people, the small hats, they're looking at these numbers and they're terrified. They're like, holy shit. Look at all of these minds and how that Amalekite mentioned the generations. All they are concerned with is being able to surround the minds of the people of the earth with media that pumps out their narrative, which is them being the chosen people, them being the victims, and anybody and anyone that come against them or that they go against the war deserved it because they're the chosen people, which everybody is beginning to realize, no, this is not the truth. Now, everyone doesn't understand prophecy, and that's where the true prophets, the men of GMS, and anyone that follows that doctrine, that's where we come in at. But people are beginning to question this man and what he is and what he's about.
Everyone on TikTok is trying to support Palestine. Mr. Greenblatt is right. The Zionists have a major TikTok problem. And they should probably start devoting all of their energy towards this. You feel me? But what do I know? I'm just some dude in his living room.
So let's get some precepts. Let's get the precepts. Look what the Bible said thousands of years ago before TikTok was even created. So look at this. So we have an ancient prophecy in Numbers. I'm going to pull out this one point, then I'm going to go into 2nd Ezra, and I'm going to come back in the Numbers again. So you got Numbers 24:20. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up this parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. All right? So now you have 2nd Ezra 9:4, and we all know how intense the prophecies are in 2nd Ezra. This is verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. The book of Ezra was written sometime. Those of you that are more familiar, you can correct me, but I know it was sometime shortly after the Babylonian captivity and right before the Roman Empire, right before Yahweh Shai walked the earth, right? A couple hundred years, 400 years. So this prophecy, compared to today's date, is like over 2,200, 2,500 years old. And the angel that is speaking to Ezra is mentioning a prophecy or things that were mentioned by the Most High in prophetic utterances before this time. It's been an ongoing thing. And those things that were mentioned before this time, this prophecy in Numbers is one of those ancient prophecies. Now let's go to Numbers. Let's find it real quick. Here we go. So this is Numbers 24:17. And I shall see him, but not now. This is talking about Yahweh Shai. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob. There goes the ruler, the king, the heir to the throne of King David, and King David. And a scepter shall rise out of Israel, that's rulership, and shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy all the children of Seth. So as a ruler is rising up out of Israel, other nations are being, and their rulerships are being destroyed simultaneously. This lines up with 2 Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2, the rock that was cut without hands, knocking over the statue, which is symbolic of all the rulerships in the earth up until the point when Yahushua is time to rule. Verse 18, there goes Edom mentioned, the Edomites, and Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession. That's just also more of Edom for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Verse 19, out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. Who's the him? Bam. Verse 20, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. One more precept. Here it is. So look at this. 2 Ezra 6:9. For Esau, which includes Amalek, is the end of the world, and Jacob, which is the Israelites, or Yahushai, is the beginning of it that followeth. So this is war, man. So you go back over here.
I bet the government's telling.
Hold on, let me
We were.
this is just real quick. So there's a eclipse coming in April 8th on America, and if you look, you see an A and an X. That's the first and the last of the alphabet, right? That's the Aleph and the Tau. So America, which is Basra, has already been marked for destruction. People think this is some, this is an amazing thing that's about to happen. We're about to see an eclipse. America is being marked. You're being warned ahead of time. The Most High is about to wipe this place off the face of the map. As one of the brothers says in the camp, Esau's about to get his nose wiped. Okay, but I want to, let me see. Find it. Hold on real quick.
So they can't control the narrative on TikTok, and that's what this is about. And You ready for this?
Yeah.
We have a major TikTok problem. This is leaked audio of the ADL chief. That's the
So it's getting out. Everybody can see what's going on.
Those are the people who call everybody anti-Semites.
Right.
The Anti-Defamation League's chief executive officer, Jonathan Greenblatt, freaking out because global youth aren't buying Israel's propaganda anymore. You want it? So this is why this is happening. Okay, here we go.
I also want to point out that we have a major
So we heard that, but the reason why this is happening for real, is right here. I'll be right back with the precepts and the prophecies. Hold on. So again, everything is declared in prophecy. This is Nahum 3:5. This is the reason why what's happening on TikTok and all over the world is taking place. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. Nakedness in the Bible, in biblical language, goes into transgression and sins. Okay, lifting up the skirt. If you were to lift up a man's skirt in the ancient times, what would you see? You would see his genitalia would be exposed, his uncleanness, his nakedness. This is Jeremiah 13:26. Therefore will I discover thy skirts upon thy face again, that thy shame may appear. Talking about their transgressions. Habakkuk 2:16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned upon thee unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. A few things. Israelite men were circumcised. We don't have foreskin. We get our foreskin cut off the 8th day when we're born, when things are being done right and our nation's in order. So this identifies a few things. This is, again, showing you a man's genitalia, which is his nakedness, talking about his transgression, but pulling back his foreskin. This is a nation, or this is a man who is not in covenant with the Most High. And that is Esau, Edom, you guys. That is the Amalek. That is Amalek, who claims to be us, but in fact he is a bastard. Let me see if I can pull up that precept real quick. A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and Ashdod is a city over there in the regions of Israel. A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. There it is, Zechariah. Let me pull up. Let me see. And a bastard, I don't like that version. Here we go. Let's try this one. Zechariah 9:6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. And let's do this real fast. Let's